Whether you like it or not, things have changed. The traditional rules of work simply don't apply to a majority of jobs anymore. And that can be a hard truth for people to hear. Many of us are already overwhelmed with the sheer volume of tough decisions, changes, and new responsibilities we have to juggle. But in order to do what's best for our businesses, it's critical for us to take a hard look at how things used to be, what's changed since then, and most importantly, how we need to respond to those changes. And we'll do that right now. Hi, I'm David Weiner, Mr. Cashflow. Thanks for joining me on this video. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel to get more videos on increasing your cash flow, saving taxes, and helping your business thrive. If this one's helpful, smash that like button too and leave me an encouraging comment in the comments section below. Let's look at the outdated rules of business and what we need to replace them with. The old rule was traditional office hours. The new rule is active hours. For many industries, the introduction of remote working created a major shakeup that, if we're honest, not everybody was completely prepared for. However, as working from home continues to change how we do business, it's important for us employers to realize that we can't change the entire work format and enforce the same rules. This is how we've always done it is irrelevant now. Circumstances have changed, and it's time for business owners to adapt. Sorry, folks, but the traditional Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. schedule, it's officially dead. And it's time for business owners to make that leap. Instead of keeping with an outdated format that, let's be honest, was never actually great for productivity, don't be afraid to rethink things. Whenever possible, replace your traditional work hours with predefined active hours that work for you, your employees, and your business. That might be 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day for some other chunk of time that makes sense. And encourage your employees to be available or on call during these hours. Don't forget to ask your employees for input on what works best for them. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the same active hours for each employee on each day of the week. Whether they're working from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., or 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., when they're working matters significantly less in many cases than whether or not the work is getting done. Another old rule is the standard 40-hour work week. The new rule is flexible scheduling. I love reminding people that the 8-hour workday is over 200 years old. Robert Owens, a Welsh labor rights activist, is credited with coining the phrase 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest back in 1817, and it's a concept that quickly made its way to America. By the early 1920s, the idea of an 8-hour workday hit the mainstream, and we've relied on that structure ever since. Obviously, a lot of things have changed over the last 200 years. So why are we still clinging to a concept that is literally centuries old? Research proves that shorter work days and shorter work weeks are both fantastic ways to improve both quality of life and quality of work for your employees. We know that employees who are happier and more productive help improve our bottom line. So why aren't we making the switch? As a business owner, you need to take a critical look at whether or not the 8-hour workday actually works for your business. Fight the urge to make decisions based on what you've become comfortable with. You might love the 8-hour workday because it makes it easier for you to keep tabs on your employees. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's best for your business. Instead, maybe you need to focus on hiring employees you trust so that you don't need to keep tabs on them every single day. Studies show that employees work better in concentrated periods and when they're in control of their own schedules. and boosting your employees' well-being pays off. Businesses that introduce more flexibility into their work week can see increases in productivity, in employee health and wellness, and in their profitability. Clinging to that rigid work schedule might be hurting your bottom line more than it's helping your peace of mind. Third old rule: too much or too little oversight. New rule: accountability. One of the reasons why many business owners resist introducing flexible schedules or work-from-home options is because they're worried it's going to be difficult to oversee their employees if they aren't in the office or logged in on the computer at the same time. While these new ways of doing work can require a fair amount of trust in your employees to actually get things done instead of watching Netflix on the company dime, it's all about creating a structure where you get what you need while allowing your employees to thrive. Accountability is critical, and it allows your employees to have a clear understanding of responsibilities and of expectations, giving them the freedom then to flourish in a non-traditional work environment. All the while, creating enough structure for you to make sure work is actually being accomplished. Unfortunately, if you don't know what your employees are up to on a daily basis, that's not always a them problem. If your employees don't have clear expectations of what they should be doing and how they should be doing it, it's harder for them to give you the reassurance you need that things are getting done. Instead of being disconnected from your team, or on the opposite end, being one of those dreaded micromanagers, try to be a touch point, not a bottleneck. Want to keep your team on track? Establish a few key metrics and then introduce weekly check-ins where employees can tell you the top 3 things that they're working on for that week. You can do a quick check-in throughout the week via Slack or via email, but for the most part, it's about learning to trust the people that you've hired to do great work. Another old rule: be a good manager. New rule: be a great leader. When it comes to being a business owner, one of the most important things you can learn is the difference between being a manager and being a leader. Anybody can manage a team with varying degrees of success, but it involves a lot of time, energy, and effort that you probably don't have at your disposal right now. Instead of viewing your role as if you're managing a team of employees, why don't you focus on learning how to be a fantastic leader as well? Be creative. Be flexible instead of pointing your fingers at your employees or the pandemic. Learn how to be a proactive instead of reactive leader. What can you do better as a leader? Where can you improve? Learn how to empower your team to function autonomously and at a high level. Remember, this isn't just about doing what's best or most comfortable for you. It takes practice, but eventually you'll find a solution that's best for your customers, your employees, and your bottom line. I realize that especially for some of you who are old school like me, making these kind of changes is difficult. But it's necessary if we want to survive and thrive in a changed and changing world. The only constant we have is change. Time to swallow hard and just, as Nike says, just do it. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Cash flow strategies. After all, it's your money. Keep more of it.